Okay, so yesterday, part of my problem was I just could not get these scissors at the right angle. And don't anybody dare tell me these are the wrong scissors and that I should be using such and such scissors. I know these are the wrong ones. Okay. Now, this little piece of easy line that we were trying to cut yesterday, it was permeated with CA glue. And I think that probably my Tamiya nippers would have been better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera on the other side, and I'm going to try and nip off that little piece that's about almost a millimeter long, and I think this is going to work. I'm going to try it. Okay, now you should be able to notice here that the part of the nipper that cuts is very close to the edge, to the side of it. So when you bring it in like this, so you can actually get right up against Now hopefully when I pull that away, the CA glue is going to break loose. But for some reason it's not. Maybe if, I hope I'm not moving it out of your field of view there. I hate to let go because I got a good grab on it. No, that won't work. Well, I'm going to have to take it out of your field of view probably here. There we go. Alright. It's better. Not perfect, but it's better. A lot better. Now, maybe from your perspective you can't see it, but this line that goes down, it's kind of bent like this. Now, I know I'm exaggerating it, but if I could grab a hold of this line right here, right close to the joint, and then sort of pry down on this, it might kind of bend right at the right at the CA joint. Now, I'll try and get it just below. Just sort of push that down. Am I making it better or worse? Maybe if I can just hook in there like that. See, if I could get my fingers in there, I could probably almost do it with my fingers better. Okay, so what has happened here is the CA glue has wicked its way from this joint out all three ways, and the easy line is actually quite stiff for about 3 millimeters or so. Now, mind you, we're noticing that because we're looking at it, but for anybody to look at the ship, from normal distance, you're not going to see that. Let's just forget about it and move on to the next line. Okay, here we are in 67, and I can't see any more lines that we have to put on in 67. This is the last one that we just did. This is the little knot here where we had the problem with that little piece sticking up. The only thing I am seeing is there appears to be this looks like a line right here, but that doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's something else. After all, this is a different model. Anyway, 68. So in 68, it looks like we have to run a line from the end of this thing here, which I was calling an antenna, but I don't think it was an antenna. We'll check it out in Stefan's book. Anyway, I think this is the one that we had to put on, that broke off 3 times and I had to put it on. Yeah, and it goes to this one. I had thought that lines went all the way around, but I was wrong apparently. At least I don't see it in this drawing or photograph. These are actually photographs of the model, and these yellow lines are just superimposed over top. However, yeah, it looks like in 68 here, there's just a line that goes from here to here. Now, of course, it would be the same on the other side. Okay, it didn't take too long, and I did actually find them in Stefan's book here. And by them, I mean these things right here. These things that we've been calling an antenna. Well, this in itself is not actually the antenna. What it did was, it was called the outrigger. For instance, right here, it's number 4. It's the wire antenna outrigger. And then this larger one in the back, number 8, antenna outrigger. So it like I say, it in itself was not the antenna. The antenna was the wire that ran from here to here. When I was a kid, pretty well all radios had to have an antenna. And what you would do is you would go out into the woods and you'd cut down a pine tree that was nice and tall and straight, about 50 feet long, and you'd take it home and you'd stick it in your yard, and you'd run an antenna from your house to the pole. That's what we did. We did that several times. And the idea was, the higher your antenna, the better reception you were going to get. Now, of course, if you lived in the city, and at those times we did not, you didn't need to worry about that. Just anything would work. A coat hanger would work. But if you lived away out, about 200 miles away from the nearest radio station, you had to do that sort of thing. And you still do today, actually. However, and back then with the Bismarck, the type of frequencies that they were broadcasting on. Now I didn't read this. I'm only guessing because I'm thinking back to when I was a kid. The type of frequencies that you would broadcast on, they didn't have short antennas. They had a long antenna. It wasn't until later that they started doing the VHF and UHF type stuff. And of course now satellite communication and what have you. I don't need to tell you about that. Anyway, we got to run an antenna from here to here. Now I had thought that they also went from here around into the back to the one that you can't see. You can actually run a straight line through here. Now here on the front you can't, because this stuff is in the way. So anyway, I'm not seeing that anywhere on anybody's drawings. Let's get on with it here and see if we can run a line from here to here. Now I haven't said this probably for maybe 50 episodes, so it's time to say it again. If you are building the model Bismarck, whether it be a 350 scale or a 200 scale like this, or maybe even the smaller scales, you've got to get this book. The information you get in this thing, it's incredible. Now, when I was talking about cutting down aerial poles and so on and making it sound like we did that all the time, actually I can only recall that being done 3 times. And I recall back around 1963 we cut down a couple of poles, and they were kind of important. My dad at that time was, among many other things, a bush pilot. And in order for him to be able to communicate with my mom, they could only do it by radio. We didn't even have a telephone where we lived at that time. So we had a transceiver, and it would be like a real heavy-duty CB radio. And I can even remember what frequency it operated on. We called it 4610, in other words, 4,610 kilocycles. And it transmitted and received on that same frequency. So you had a key on the mic, and you operated it like a CB radio, and it had a tremendous range. 500 miles was common. I do recall somebody once saying they got about 1,000-mile range on one of those. but everything had to be just right for that to happen. Uh, but it was pretty interesting. Yeah, and we had the aerial for this thing, or the antenna, supported between two tall spruce trees that we had trimmed and stuck in the ground. I imagine the antenna was only maybe 35, 40 feet above the house, but yeah, it was. Yeah, it's funny what comes to mind when you sort of start reminiscing in your mind. Now that I'm looking at this a little bit closer, I can sort of see that maybe I was trying to loop it around the wrong place. Maybe instead of going on the inside and around, I should have been going around this little protrusion that comes out of the end of the outrigger that I hadn't noticed before. And there's one on this one as well. So I had to go on something like this. And let's see, I wonder, would it have been better to have had it... No, I wanted to go over, not under. I almost need another pair of tweezers here. Okay. Yeah, I'll get another pair of tweezers and grab hold of that. Then I should be able to pull it. Hey, just hold on. I'm going to look for tweezers here. Where are they? Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay, this time I'm a little bit more prepared. I got my CA glue right here handy, and I don't want that to slip off. Go around like this. And I want to come up on this side of it. Oh. Okay. There must be another way here. Okay, so I want this to come out like this. Maybe if I go and hold it with both. See, I want this one right here to be on the outside of this one. I'll think of something. Okay, let's try this again, and I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to keep a little bit of tension on the other line there. Now, okay, now my other tweezers. I come like this, grab hold of them. Oh, it just won't stay on this little end here. Well, this is a case of where if I just went around once sort of, and see if I go like this. See, I know that I can do it like this, but then this one here is too far in that way, and I want it to be more out at the end here if possible. And if I have this one hooked on the inside of this one, then that will happen. But then, believe it or not, this easy line, even though it is extremely flexible, it is when you look at it really small like this or getting close, it almost appears to be stiff. I'm going to try this again. Can I get my... Okay, I can just hear mouse clicks all over the world, clicking off or unfriending me and everything else here. Okay, why can't I get that? What is the problem here? I'm going to have to put some sort of a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode here. Okay, now. I don't want that to come off. Now. Just a little bit here. Okay. There. Finally. Are any of you still watching? Probably about 4 or 5 minutes has passed here. Just put a little bit of tension on this. Yeah, got it. Now I realize that this one that we just did down here is probably badly out of focus. But this is the one we're working on right now, and I'm thinking there's no use having this line any longer than I need. So we'll nip it about an inch after, give us about an inch of play here. And my plan is to try and do it the same way as I did the other one, only with a little less fooling around. I'll stick the macro lens back on. Okay, here we go. Can you imagine these people that can do eye surgery? My goodness, they wouldn't want me doing their eyes. Now I don't want this too tight. I think that's about right. Trying to get my glue here. Okay. Pull that out just a little bit here. Okay, I think we'll just let that cure normally. I'm not going to blow on it. Now, Tennessee Jim was mentioning, why don't you use a razor blade? And I was thinking, yeah, there's nothing sharper than a razor blade, at least not that I know of. And I don't think I have any, but just checking this morning, I do. I've got these. These could be very, very old. I don't know how long I've had them. It says made in Great Britain. It's nice to see something that isn't made in China for a change. So these could go way, way back. Ever-ready razor blades. I want to be really, really careful here I don't cut myself, because it's probably been several years since I've handled one of these things. Easy does it now. At least it's not all rusty. So let's just see how that's going to work for cutting off the excess of our easy line here. Okay, now here's something else I've had for many years. It says made in USA, so it's got to be old. And not that there isn't anything made in the USA anymore. It's just that almost everything I've got is made in Asia. Now I realize that probably by poking this end in here, or this edge rather, I'm probably going to be dulling it. Very, very carefully here. Well, that was just about ready to fall out. Good thing I didn't lose it. Okay, now will this fold in there without dulling the blade? Yeah, I should be able to get it to go down in there. Yeah, that'll be alright. Okay. Let's get ourselves in a readiness here. Say cut like this, I guess. Alright, let me get the macro lens on. Okay, let's just grab hold of this like this, put a little bit of tension on, and I'm going to come from underneath. Okay, there we go. Well, I think that's it for today's video, folks. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.